Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to Madam Farhana Aini. Today we are going to present manufacturing sector during COVID-19. But first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nur Imanina binti Anwar Azif. This is my group members. She is Nur Ain Nabila binti Zulkarnain, Felicia Patrick, and Intan Nur Aryani binti Abidin. Okay, firstly, the background of COVID-19 problem. In December 2019, COVID-19 first discovered in Wuhan City, China. 30 January 2020, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 as a global pandemic. 25 January 2020, the first COVID-19 identified in Malaysia, and in 18 March 2020, movement control order in Malaysia. Okay, next, background of history of manufacturing sector. Manufacturing is the process of raw materials to be made into finished goods. Industrial Revolution is the change in the manufacturing industry, where goods were produced using machines instead of hands at home. Manufacturing in Malaysia existed since colonial era, but didn't contribute much with 8% of national revenue. But in 2010, manufacturing industry had a significant contribution to Malaysia's GDP of 26.11%.
The effect of COVID-19 towards the manufacturing sector in Malaysia is firstly disturbed export flow. Manufacturing sector is one of the biggest sector that contribute to the GDP of Malaysia. In the preceding year, Malaysia is known as the one of the biggest exporter of solar panel and also electronics products to other countries. But during the COVID-19, government of Malaysia implies the MCO that leads to a reduced time in working in the industry and also reduce the exporting activities in order to reduce and avoid any risk. The second effect of COVID-19 is financial crisis. During COVID-19, the government implement the MCO that will make customers to lock themselves in their house in order to prevent any risk. For manufacturers, they will face the financial crisis because of the decrease in customer for their manufacturing sector. For example, Alliance Manufacturing, they will need to pay their expenses such as taxation and also the workers' wages, but they face the decrease in customers. It will reduce their profit. The third effect of COVID-19 towards the manufacturing sector is the supply chain risk. During COVID-19, production activities and also supply chain activities will be delayed due to the MCO. This is because the long distance from the warehouse to the retail shop.
Lastly, the experience of innovation. Manufacturing industry should figure out the solutions that will bring greater efficiency, lower cost, and less waste, enabling them to outlast the pandemic. As example, the environment in which electronics manufacturers are building has changed rapidly in the last couple of months. Given the unknown variables of how the COVID-19 pandemic will play out and when containment will be achieved, industrial manufacturers should brace for a trying period and plan for a recovery that may not arrive for at least 1 year. Based on prior crises the industry has experienced.
Next, we move to the measures to overcome COVID-19 problems in manufacturing sector. Firstly, one of the measures to overcome is enabling workplace physical distancing. Companies should maintain and establish sufficient portions of their emergency management guidelines to keep workers healthy for the longer term, so they become part of the normal operating procedures of plants. These guidelines may include HR policies to guarantee that if they feel like crap, employees should remain at home, increase health monitoring, periodic disinfection of appliances along with occasional deep cleaning of entire workplace, and limitations on the use of community resources and locations. For instance, the semantic RTLS transmitters from Siemens with a precision of about 1 foot are inserted in badges which are used by all workforces as personal protective equipment. Across the process, RTLS receivers' position can then continuously monitor and record employee action. An alarm will be shown on their badges when two workers are at risk, for example, less than 6 feet apart, to notify them to the circumstance.
Overcoming the impact of COVID-19 on individuals, there must be obstacles that are going to be an uphill struggle. Also, analyze how profitability, deposit revolving credit and cash flow balance will sustain continuous activity in a low-income environmentals. Instance, in a view of actual cash operating costs, tax, and other items of cash spendings, the manufacturing sector need to develop capitals and business expenses budgets to recognize not only incremental expenditures but also surplus products that can be minimized. The manufacturers need to consider the refinancings of debt with banks and other organizations that they are in debt. Other than that, work together with the local states and federal government to integrate employees and consumer plans while ensuring mission critical efficiency. So, the manufacturers also can overcome COVID-19 when considering the tax and tariff consequences of any shift in the production process. Strategic plans must go further than just finding potential suppliers. Implications could cover immigrations and custom transits, pricing considerations. They should organize and plan for multiple types of fundings that government can provide to ensure that they do not face bankruptcy. Examples like to from receive fund to stale promises of new loan for tax credit or reversals. Strategically prepare for the situations. Operations in one state could be more beneficial, both financials and operations, than the other during the recessions. The manufacturers need to choose the country in which their business is more vulnerable to repercussions of capitals and standardized money.
In conclusion, the movement control order makes factories in Malaysia have to reduce their working hours. Therefore, the workers are not being able to produce many products and have difficulty in export goods. It resulted in a financial crisis, rigged supply chain, were delays in the manufacturing process, and also gain experience of innovation. The ways to overcome are by enabling workplace physical distancing, analyzing profitability, as well as considering the tax and tariff consequences.